Hey educators, it's Jebeh Edmunds here, and I wanted to introduce to you one of my favorite autobiographies, The Boy Who Harnessed the Wind. The reason why I love this book is because it talks about a boy's determination to solve a problem. Does that sound like engineers out there? It's a great story of engineering, perseverance, and resiliency. There's two versions of this story, and I forgot to mention it is written by the boy himself, William Kamkwamba, and he is a native of Malawi. I love that it has two versions. You could get the chapter book version, and I use the chapter book version when I teach my 5th grade class for my read-alouds. When I use the picture book, it is really good for primary age students because they can see the illustrations and make those connections with the text. With my expertise in trying to find multicultural books throughout the world and incorporate that in my classroom, students get a different perspective of the way day-to-day life is for kids all over the world. I use this book as an example because traditionally throughout the continent of Africa, students have to pay for their elementary to high school education and even in college. My parents were born and raised in Liberia, and they told me growing up that they had school fees and tuition that they had to pay for. Things that we take for granted in the United States when we have free public education. There was a natural disaster of famine in his home country, and thousands of people died during that big famine. What I also wanted to show my students is with hardships and challenges, you can still persevere. And this book really gives you that firsthand account of what it's like to persevere. This was one of my students' favorite books that I read out loud to them, and I wanted to share with you all one of my favorite autobiographies. William Kamkwamba also did a TED Talk, which I think is very important to watch. I even made a curriculum lesson plan that is a companion to this book. So when you get your book, wherever you find it, please go onto my website, jebehedmunds.com, and order your lesson plan that goes along with this book. I have a lot of standards that are compatible with your needs in the state that you belong to. And I also have great thought-provoking questions that will help you primary to upper elementary, even middle school, to help you form good discussions around this book. No matter how hard he worked, he had people in his community, even his mother, who doubted his hope and dream to get a windmill into his town to irrigate the crops that were drying out and dying. My students were rooting for him every page of this book. It is so important to show your students different perspectives around the world and great discussion of what you can do when you put your mind to something. This book has to be on your shelves. The Boy Who Harnessed the Wind by William Kamkwamba and Brian Mueller, illustrated by Elizabeth Zunin. Check it out and check out my companion lesson plan on jebehedmunds.com.